we're going to be looking at the rise of industry. Our first video in several for this unit. This is a longer unit, I would say. It's going to take us all the way up into the World Wars, which you get to do an activity with that when we go see the Hunger Games. But for this unit, we're going to look at the Industrial Revolution. We're going to look at nationalism, imperialism, and that will end this unit. And then the next unit will be like the World Wars, World War I and World War II. But let's start the small section of this unit off looking at the rise of industry. When you think of England, and you're looking at England in the 1750s, farmers were using hand tools. They lived in one-room cottages in around small villages. They made their own clothes. They grew their own food. They knew little about the world outside their own village. And they traveled by foot. Now, you go 100 years forward, in the 1850s, they worked in factories using machinery. They bought all their clothes like you guys do today. And they bought all their food like you guys do today, or I do also. There was a variety of products like our life is today, and they knew a great deal about the outside world, and they traveled by train or steamship. So let's think of today versus like 20 years ago, before the World Wide Web became as popular as it is today. It made our world flatter, meaning you can communicate with someone in another part of the world like in 30 seconds through email. So just imagine that happening in the 1750s versus the 1850s with the change of technology and the new creation of inventions. Now, there was a revolution throughout England. First, let's look at the farms, the agricultural revolution. Small farms are now going to disappear, and we're going to get larger, efficient farms, which in result of that is going to increase farm output, meaning more products are going to be produced. Instead of producing like 50 corns a month, now they're going to be able to produce like 100 or even more than that. And you're also going to increase the amount of money that you make because of if you increase the number of products that you make, that means there's more products that you're going to sell, which means you're going to get more profit, more money. However, because we're going to go to these large efficient farms, the peasant farmers are going to lose their jobs because the wealthy farmers are going to be in charge of these larger efficient farms. So the peasant farmers are going to be homeless and they're going to be jobless. So the only thing that's going to be left for them is to go to the factories, is to move to the cities to work. So in the cities, or in England in general, you are going to have a population growth. Because the more efficient farms, you're going to have more food being produced, which is going to lead to more people. People no longer have to worry about starving or where they're going to get their next meal because these large efficient farms. So the population growth is going to grow mostly from people living longer, no longer had to worry about starvation. So you're going to go from 5 million people to 9 million people by the 1850s because of because of the agricultural revolution. Just like now, we live longer just based on new technologies that have been created since like the 1850s. So what were some of these new technologies? Well, coal is going to be very, very important because it's going to produce energy. Just like oil is very important to our generation, coal is the same thing, but during that time period, because they have yet to create cars. So they're going to begin to burn coal to produce energy. You're also going to, because of coal, you're going to have the invention of the steam power engine, which is going to power the ships and trains. So coal is also going to lead to them playing around with metals. So you're going to have a higher quality of metal is going to be created, or basically they're going to learn how to craft higher quality of metals. I can't talk today. Specifically iron. So now you have coal and iron that is going to increase the number of inventions during the Industrial Revolution. Besides the new inventions, those you're going to have improvements in transportation, which is going to be a result of the invention. So you're going to have new roads are going to be built, canals, better bridges and harbors, which is going to help with trade. The railroads is going to be invented around the 1830s, and again, this is coal having an impact because it's going to power these trains to run. So train tracks are going to be laid quickly, which is going to decrease the time needed to trade or to travel. It's going to replace sailing ships with steamships, which again increases the time. It makes it it decreases the time needed to transport products. So why did the Industrial Revolution begin in England and not any other place in the world? Why did it begin in the United States? Well, it's going to begin in England because England's going to have a lot of coal and iron deposits. They're going to have a lot of workers to work in the mines and factories, so they're going to have a surplus of workers that live in England, and these workers are going to be looking for jobs, and so they're going to go to the factories, they're going to the mines, which is only going to propel England into the Industrial Revolution. England also is going to have the money and the engineers needed. The engineers are the people that are going to come up with the ideals, but the ideals need someone to push and invest in, and that's where the money comes in, and there was money in England during this time period. Necessary for developing new inventions. There were wealthy people that lived in England, and they were looking to invest in some new creation because they knew that creation would bring them more money. So you have wealthy people looking to invest their money, which is going to help these inventors or these engineers get their products out. You're going to have a stable government in England during this time. They're going to be a constitutional monarchy. They have already gone through William Mary and the English Bill of Rights. Now their government is very stable. Parliament is stable. They have a prime minister, which the prime minister is very similar to our president. So England's government is going to support this Industrial Revolution. It's going to be a stable government, not like France that went through like the whole Napoleon stage, going back to a constitutional monarchy. England done that. Now they're ready to have economic growth, and that's what the government does. The government focuses on growing their economy. So let's look at another industry. We looked at the agriculture industry. We looked at the new technology of coal and iron. But textile means clothes. So before the Industrial Revolution, that's the whole making of cloth was very time consuming. You will have somebody that will make the cloth, then they would send the cloth to the store so they can weave it together. And so basically it was very slow, it was inconsistent, and it was very expensive. So after the whole textile industry and their revolution, inventors created machines to perform the spinning, the weaving, finishing, and dye process of cloth. This is going to, basically it made the process of making, it should be cloths, not clothes, making cloth much faster and cheaper. And machines were large, and they had to be stored in factories. This is different because before the Industrial Revolution, or before the textile industry, the workers would work at home. Like they would do the weaving, the spinning, the finishing. They would do all that at home. Well, now the new inventions are so large that they have to be stored in a building, which are factories. So now the workers are no longer working in the house, but now they're traveling into the cities and working in factories. And this is going to lead to our whole big industrial revolution and people moving from farms into the cities. And we're going to be talking about urbanization, unfortunately, child labor, and different impacts that the Industrial Revolution is going to have on creating these cities, but also the downfall of the Industrial Revolution, some of the negative aspect of the Industrial Revolution. And that's it for today. Have a good day.